All right, so this video is just a basic review of equations. This is the number one thing that you should have learned from Algebra A. So hopefully it's just a quick refresher. An equation involves the equal sign, and essentially what that does is it kind of makes like two different sides. You need to keep them balanced. So that wherever the equal sign is, it creates a left side and a right side. And again, the idea is we want to keep them balanced. Okay, so a couple bullet points. Whenever you're working with equations, you must keep the equation balanced. Okay, meaning if you guys remember from last year, whatever you do to one side of your equation, you have to match that on the other side of the equation. That's why I kind of drew that line down the middle to show left and right. You got to keep it balanced. Okay, the goal, whenever you're solving these things, is you want to isolate or get it by itself. Okay, you want to isolate the variable. Remember, variable is just a way of saying like a letter. So the idea, like when you're doing these questions, the goal is to get like, if the variable is x, we want to get x equals blank. That's the goal of these things. And the way we move things around is we deal with inverses. So if something is positive, the way we get rid of it is we subtract. If something is being multiplied, the way we get rid of it is by dividing. Okay, these are inverses of each other. Okay, they undo each other. And that's how we move things around. Okay, so we move terms or pieces by doing the inverse. Inverse is just a fancy way of saying opposite. Okay, so let's go ahead and try a few. Again, where the idea is to stay balanced and to get the variable by itself. All right, so first example, if I were to give you an equation such as negative 4x plus 5 equals negative 15. Now, I'm going to suggest until you are very comfortable with staying organized in these equations, I would always start off with drawing this line, wherever the equal sign is. That way you can clearly see left side and right side. Okay. Second thing I would suggest is whatever is attached to the variable, I would save for later. So in other words, in this question, I would save this piece for later. I wouldn't deal with that right away. Okay. So I would start off with that 5. I'd want to get rid of that. Okay, so right now this says positive 5. So the inverse of a positive 5 is positive, so the inverse would be negative 5. Notice how it's nice to make sure things line up. Numbers always get lined up with numbers. Variables always get lined up with variables. So minus 5 there, but to stay balanced, I have to also minus 5 over here. I'm going to draw a line across just to stay organized. Okay, what's happening is we're creating what's called a zero pair. Positive 5 minus 5 is 0. It's gone. So with the leftovers on the left-hand side, just bring them straight down, we have negative 4x. And the line is wherever the equal sign is going to be. Over here, negative 15 minus 5. So you spent $15 and then you spend another $5. So total, you spent $20. Okay. Now I said whatever's attached to the variable, I tend to save for later. So now we can deal with that negative 4. Okay. Technically, whenever it's written like this means negative 4 times x. Okay. So the opposite, if we're multiplying by 4, the opposite to get rid of it would be divide by 4. And remember, division and fraction, the same thing. That's why they look very similar. Okay, but again, whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. So divide this side by negative 4 as well. Okay, coming back over here, whenever you have negative 4 divided by negative 4, they cancel each other out. So the only thing left is x, which is what we wanted. And over here, negative 20 divided by negative 4, well, a negative divided by a negative, those negatives cancel each other out. And 20 divided by 4 gives us 5. And then we're done. Okay, so take it one piece at a time. Try not to do all in one go. And try to stay as organized as possible. Make sure things are lining up. Okay, slightly different question. If I were to give you y over 4 plus 2 equals negative 2. Again, I would recommend starting off with that line down where the equal sign is. Okay, and again, whatever's attached to the variable, I would recommend saving for later. So in this question, I'm going to save this for later. Okay, let me switch to pencil. So I'm going to do that for later. I'm going to focus in on that positive 2. Again, it's positive, so to get rid of it, we could subtract 2. Whatever I do to one side, make sure you do to the other. Make sure things line up. Okay, so this is a 0 pair. We cancel each other out. Bring down the leftovers. So y over 4. Okay, so negative 2 minus 2. You spent $2, and then you spent another $2. So total you spent $4. Okay, now we got to get rid of the 4 over here that's underneath the y. This says y divided by 4. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So we'll multiply by 4 on this side. Whatever you do to one side, make sure you do to both. Okay, the 4's cancel each other out. And leftovers, we get y is equal to negative 16. Positive times negative makes negative, and 4 times 4, 16. Okay. One more question I want to go over with you guys, just because you might run into it once in a while. And it's slightly different than the previous example. I'm going to write that down. So if I were to give you x plus 9, the entire side is divided by 3 equals 8. Okay, so major difference here. If you look at the last example, notice only the y was divided by 4. Okay, it wasn't the entire side. It was just the y that was being divided by 4. In this question, the entire side is being divided by 3. So in this example, I actually have to start with that 3. I have to get rid of it. So because the entire side is being divided by 3, what I can do is I can take the entire side and I can multiply by 3. I forgot to draw that line down the middle. Okay, what that does is it causes this 3 to cancel out with this 3, which leaves over here x plus 9. Okay, but don't forget, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to both. Okay, and then you bring that down. 8 times 3, 24. And now we can get rid of that 9. It's positive 9, so to get rid of it, we subtract. Whatever you do to one side, do to both. This is a 0 pair. X now by itself. And 24 minus 9 gives us 15. Okay? So those are the type of questions you're going to run into. These are kind of just a review of some basic equations. They will get a little more challenging, but I do want you to try a couple of questions on your own. All right, so the ones I would like you to try, I have 2 of them for you. So number 1, 2x plus 10 equals negative 2. And number 2, x over 4 minus 6 equals negative 5. All right, so at this point, go ahead and pause the video. Take as much time as you need, but try both questions out. And then when you're done, press play and you can check your work.